Hello, this is Talia again. I'm reading The Struggle. I'm on chapter 6, and I believe this is part 5. Okay. Let's see. Right here. I'm hot, she said abruptly. I think I'll go see what kind of refreshments Laura has provided. Stephen started to rise, but Elena waved him back down. He wouldn't have any use for potato chips and punch, and she wanted to be alone for a few minutes to be moving instead of sitting to calm herself. Being with Meredith and Bonnie had given her a false sense of security. Leaving them, she was once again confronted by sidelong glances and suddenly turnbacks. This time it made her angry. She moved through the crowd with deliberate insolence, holding any eye she accidentally caught. I'm already notorious, she thought. I might as well be brazen, too. She was hungry. In the Ramsay's dining room, someone had set up refreshments, an assortment of finger foods that looked surprisingly good. They set up finger foods, okay. Elena took a paper plate and dropped a few carrot sticks on it, ignoring the people around the bleached oak table. She wasn't going to speak to them unless they spoke first. She gave her full attention She gave special attention to the refreshments, leaning past people to select cheese wedges and Ritz crackers, reaching in front of them to pluck grapes, looking up and down the whole array to see if there was anything she'd missed. She'd succeeded in riveting everyone's attention, something she knew without raising her eyes. She bit delicately down on a breadstick, holding it between her teeth like a pencil, and turned from the table. Mind if I have a bite? Shock snapped her eyes wide open and froze her breath. Her mind jammed, refusing to acknowledge what was going on, and leaving her helpless, vulnerable in the face of it. But though rational thought had disappeared, her senses went right on recording mercilessly. Dark eyes dominating her field of vision. A whiff of some kind of cologne in her nostrils. Two long fingers tilting her chin up. Damon leaned in and neatly and precisely bit off the other end of the breadstick. In that moment, their lips were only inches apart. He was leaning in for a second bite before Elena's wits revived enough to throw her backward, her hand grabbing the bit of crisp bread and tossing it away. He caught it in midair. A verso display of reflex. His eyes were still on hers. Elena got in a breath at last and opened her mouth. She wasn't sure what for. To scream, probably, to warn all these people to run into the night. Her heart was pounding like a trip hammer. Her vision blurred. Easy, easy. He took the plate from her and then somehow got hold of her wrist. He was holding it lightly, the way Mary had felt for Stephen's pulse, as she continued to stare and gasp. He stroked it with his thumb as if comforting her. Easy. It's all right. What are you doing here, she thought. The scene around her seemed eerily bright and unnatural. It was like one of those nightmares when everything is ordinary, just like waking life, and then suddenly grotesque happens. He was going to kill them all. Elena, are you okay? Sue Carson was talking to her, gripping her shoulder. I think she choked on something, Damon said, releasing Elena's wrist. But she's all right now. Why don't you introduce us? He was going to kill them all. Elena, this is Damon. Sue spread an apologetic hand, and Damon finished for her. Smith, he lifted a paper cup toward Elena. Levante, what are you doing here? She whispered. He's a college student, Sue volunteered. When it became apparent that Damon wasn't going to answer, from University of Virginia, was it? William and Mary? Okay, so we'll continue. Be back.